Hey everybody, welcome to a very snowy version, well, at least if you're in New York City, of Rock the Rep. Today, we are focused all on songs of Fleetwood Mac, which, as I was talking to the Wailers that are in the room with me here in the StreamYard, if you are an auditioner and you're looking for good pop rock stuff, I was surprised at how quickly all of their stuff cuts. So if you are looking for 16s and 32s, Fleetwood Mac stuff cuts pretty quickly. And a lot of it you can choose, like, I'm going to go first verse to chorus, or I'm going to go second verse to chorus, and it gives you lots of options. So, I mean, it's good solid material for, and it's good solid material for getting a 16 and getting in and getting out. So that's just something I discovered in the three songs that we're doing today, which are Songbird, Don't Stop, and Landslide. And also, it's like the day of the yay women composers, because all these were either written by Christine McVie or Stevie Nicks. So we're going to start with Songbird. So so if you've been with me, if you've come to a few of these Rock the Reps, you know that I will either do one of two things. I'll either take 3 techniques that apply across all songs, or I'll give you a technique that goes to a song, and then if it bleeds over, it bleeds over. So today is another one of those days of, like, we're going to do a technique with a song. Okay, so for Songbird, and I also try to make the when I name the techniques kind of hook in the mind to the song that you're doing. So this one, Songbird, I decided, well, how can I connect this? And it's through using bird sounds. So what we're going to focus on in this one is the shift between your open vocal folds and your closed vocal folds, which is basically what's going to give you kind of that cool breathy sound, and then also the full sound at the bottom. And it is ultimately, as you continue to work it, what creates the space for those vocal flips to happen. So here's how the technique is going to work, and then we're just going to play with it a little bit. So the dove is the light, gentle bird. So the dove, if you are singing in the dove placement, then I want you to do hee. So what we're looking for is you're going to put an H on there, and you're going to feel like you're throwing all your air away. Hee, hee. Notice that it never quite goes to hee. Like, you don't hear the sound get full. It stays like the doors in the throat stay open. It's like out of breath the whole time. And the reason I put the H on the front is the H is what opens them up and leads you into that condition. So sometimes it's helpful to think H, E, and then think H at the end. So instead of like he, which might close, you can think he. So there's an H at the beginning and then H at the end. So that's your dove, okay? Now, geese, so the doves are the gentle ones. Geese, if you've ever spent any time around a goose, that I have in my childhood, they're very aggressive and scary sometimes, and they hiss at you and they're mean. They're also, so we're going to make an aggressive sound there, and we're going to go, now we're not going to put an H on this one because we want what we call like the glottal onset, which is going to help take it to a thicker sound. So instead of honk, you're going to do on. Okay, so you're still going to make like a goosey shape, but you're not going to put the H in front of it. So your 2 options are he and on. And I want you to feel them drastically like that. So just practice that with me for a second. We're just going to go back and forth between he and on. Now, I've made these birds. If it helps you to think of a completely different animal, this is sort of kind of the same concept as a donkey. He on, right? Which might help you with the flips part later. But to lock it to Songbird, we're going to stick with birds, okay? So I want you to go back and forth between he and on. Okay, so we're going to do our dove. So I'm going to say dove. We're going to do he. I'm going to say goose. We're going to do on. Here we go. Dove, he, goose, on. And think aggressively. Think gentle, think aggressive. Think gentle, think aggressive. Okay? Gentle dove, he, aggressive goose, on. Those are the 2 shapes that we're playing with. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sing this, and there is no exact place when you do this that you need to make the shift. They can go wherever you want them to. As a general rule in pop, what you're going to hear most singers do is be goosier at the bottom and more like the dove at the top. Right, so if they're moving through it, it's probably going to get breathier at the top and it's probably going to get fuller at the bottom. That's just kind of standard, but it does not have to be that way. So I'm going to clarify that. So let me demonstrate what I want you to do, and then we're going to play with it just a little bit. So I'm going to sing this through the lens of, I'm going to sing with the goose, and then I'm going to do it with the filter of the dove, and then we're going to put it back in that context. So here we go. If I can get my song to play. Hang on. Okay, there we go. So we're going to start with my dove. Oh. The goose can be lightly aggressive. Oh, Okay, so you get how that works. So now I'm going to go put the words through that filter. So I just did, now I let my dove and my goose kind of indicate where I'm headed. And I go, now Janet likes this. We like this technique. Yeah? Okay, cool. So now I'm going to sing it and let my dove and my goose kind of inform where I'm headed from there. And then Janet, we may play with the technique here in just a second together. Okay. So I started with my dove. So as a matter of fact, we'll do this so you can see when I'm doing it. If I'm doing the dove, I'll bring my hands up here. You'll hear it. If I'm dove, I'll bring my hands up here. Goose, I'll bring my hands on here so that you can kind of see, or actually dove because it's open, goose because it's closed. Okay, that's what we'll do. All right. We'll start open with the dove. For you, there'll be no more crying. For you, the sun will be shining. Let's quickly get that one. And I feel it when I'm with you. It's alright. I know it's right. And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. So you get the idea. It's not like an exact thing. It just sort of gets you a framework to work with. So Janet, come join me. So let's just play with a verse. So like literally you can give me, so we're just going to do the, for you, there'll be no more crying. So I want you to give me the dub. And if it helps to do what I was doing with the fingers on the in and the out, do that too. So you can do like a
I don't know if my Wi-Fi is a bit.
There we go. I got you now.
Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. You have to tell
me
the melody.
So now
exactly.
Now give me for you.
Yeah. For you.
Nice.
For you. I think my Wi-Fi is a bit glitchy.
That's okay. We're getting you. I know it's a little, it's coming at you a little delayed, but we're getting you. So tell me, I mean, like that automatically takes you from one quality into a next one, and it really created a nice texture there. So what do you feel? How does that feel different than before? How does that feel new?
I don't tend to, because I struggled with closure. I try not to be breathy, so I probably would have mixed it, for you. But I really, really like this, and I think I need to explore more to get more colours. Tom's Earth, Wind and Fire is this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is it, isn't it?
Well, so I would play with this because it's
Yeah.
a really straightforward way to do that, and just kind of coming in and out.
Mm,
I just know there's no like, and the great thing what I find is when I work in those extremes, and then I come back into the words. The great thing about our voice is that is like the voice will sort of intuitively take over and be like, oh, I know where we're headed now. Because it's
yeah, it's like a
kind of given
roadmap.
parameters. Yeah.
Roadmap,
So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Thank you
mm.
for demoing. Darren, can I bring you up? Okay, you want to try any one of the phrases and just like give me the dove goose first, and then give me the words through that filter. Oh, I think you're muted still. There you go.
Sorry. So I was saying it's hard to jump to the ah. He ah he ah
Nice.
ah ah ah.
Yeah, now put the words on what you just created with those.
For what? How do I start? For you, there'll be no crying. For you, the sun will be shining.
Yeah. So what if you were to, like, for other singers watching, like what do you have to think the most about when you're making those shifts?
For the to feel almost like it's like unsupported is not probably the right word, but like the real breathy is more breathy than I want it to be.
Yeah.
Like I want to be for you, which is not right. I was like, for you. Yeah. And just like, no, they're totally different things.
Yeah. It is a complete, it is one of those like complete and total gear shifts.
Yeah.
And it's like it's getting used to like the doors being open and like literally almost not slamming shut, but going shut. Thank you for the demo. Leslie, you want to do this one, or you want to do the next one? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so pick any one of the phrases. You can do the opening, or you can do any one of the phrases that you want, and then take it first through the dove and the goose, and then we'll put the words on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do. I want to create more of a separation. So, can you give me and then really go into that H. So like it's almost like break the sound, break the line. He. So it literally feels like two phrases. He. Yeah. So you want it to feel like two separate things. Can you go even breathier on that top? It's gonna feel like you're throwing all your air away. Yes.
Okay.
Now, can you give me the words in that? And the songbird.
And the songbird keeps singing like they know the sky.
Yeah.
Like that.
So if you were to describe, so let me ask you the same question I asked Darren. If you were to describe to another singer what that feels like to go between those two placements, how would you describe it?
Actually feels really secure. Like I feel like I know where I'm going.
Like, so it gives you parameters. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like two separate things. It feels like, okay, I'm here, and then I know I'm going right there, instead of kind of messing around in the middle.
Yeah, so that's where, thank you for sharing that, because that's where, and thank you for the demo. I love what Leslie just said, because that's kind of why I feel like that's where technique is useful to us, in the sense that the technique gives us a framework within which to kind of like, it's almost like, here are the lines to color in. And then it's like, once you know the box and the lines, then you can color outside of them. And it, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think having these two sort of goalposts of, here's where I'm headed, or here's where I'm headed. Once the voice knows kind of what the two opposite ends of the spectrum are, it knows how to play in between them, and it will feel more stable than if it's like, I don't really know where the goalposts are, where we're headed, or kind of what the sensations are. So this gives the muscle memory two sensations to lock onto, and then you can play from there. So really cool. All right, so the next one that we're going to go to is Don't Stop. So the one on this is memorize the micro shift. And the technique I chose to focus on this one is actually, there are some, inside this, there are some tiny, quick 3-note runs. And so one of the things I get asked a lot is like, how do you cleanly sing riffs or runs? And it's kind of one of those things, you don't really think of Fleetwood Mac for that, but there are at least 3 of them in this cut. So let me sing it for you real quick so you can hear where they are. And then I'm going to give you what I use when I'm working on I'm trying to sing like these runs and things cleanly, if I can remember these words. All right. If you're awake and you don't want to smile, if it takes just a little while, look at the day, you'll see things in a different way. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. Next one. It'll be better than before. Next one. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. Okay, so we're just going to focus on, it'll be, there's 3 of them in the cut, but let's focus on that one, mainly because an E vowel is the easiest one to really kind of start working on moving sounds with. So when I say memorize the micro shift, when I was playing with this earlier, what I realized is like, oh, 4 different things are happening. There are tiny, tiny, tiny shifts happening, but there are 4 shifts that are happening when I sing that B. So and what I want you to do is, it'll be. And I want you just like, so actually do that and close your eyes. And I want you to hyper focus what you feel happening, basically from your lips to your clavicle. And notice, like, what do you feel altering? So we're going to close off one sense so that you can really focus on sensory. And what do you feel altering when you sing B, B, B? So what do you feel moving the most? Darren, I'm going to bring you back up. What do you feel moving the most when you shift those?
It'll be. I mean, it just feels like the note is moving down my mouth.
Okay. So it's your sensory experiences here. It'll be. So it's like,
yeah. It's almost like the note starts up here and then ends on the back of my tongue.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
So yeah, so you've just mapped it. So now let's slowly speed that up, and like, now you've mapped what you're feeling.
Okay.
Now so you can speed up, and now that you found like, okay, these are the rungs on the ladder, can you speed it up? It'll be. Like, how fast can you move through the ladder you just identified?
It'll be. Oh, it'll be. So
what do you feel when it wants to get slidey? What do you feel?
It feels like I'm skipping them. I just went down a slide instead of the rungs.
Yeah. So now pair with the rung of the ladder. Pair with thinking restate the E. B-E-E-E. Like it's like me, 4 different E's. B, like you're literally restating that E on every single rung.
It'll be. Wait, let me slow it down. It'll be. But I shouldn't actually stop the sound, should I?
Right. So now, but you want, so it's like you want to think, renew the vowel. So
Okay.
I think that when I do this, I think like E, like I'm restating that E, but there's like a little tiny invisible thread connecting them. B, there it's E, but with a little tiny invisible thread connecting all 3 of them. 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. It'll be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And then the final thing is just sort of like, I almost shared this for Super Bowl and I decided not to. I don't know why, but like I'm about to use a sports analogy in a voice class, but it's sort of like if you have, you know, somebody that's a defensive tackle, your defensive tackle is going to weigh about 100 pounds more on average than your wide receiver in football. That's because your wide receiver has to be able to pick up and run. So I equate that vocally with the lighter it goes, the faster it can go.
Mm.
So the other thing is lean into the E and then lighten up the when you come down the ledge. So like, so one of the ways you can make it go faster is lightening as it ascends. B, so that the first note is the most important and heaviest one, and then the other ones come back.
It'll be.
There it is. And that, so like, so to your audience, we get the full sound, and then we get the speed, but it doesn't sound light to us because you dug on the first note, and then the next one, the next series. So yeah, cool. Thank you for demoing.
Welcome.
Janet, I want to bring you up. So I want to share this comment because I feel it the way you feel it. My sensory comes from, so like where Darren's sensory kind of comes from here, mine actually did come from more like feeling my larynx move. And so this is a great, I love this because one of the things that I want everybody who's watching this to understand is like, you're not, where you sensory experience something may not be where somebody else sensory experiences something, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is can you create your map and then recreate the product from your map? How you get there doesn't matter. Like it's whatever.
Everything you've said, everything you've been saying though just now adds to just making it that much better. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it was I think I was drawn to it because you said clavicle. So why did you say that? I'm curious.
Well, because most of these shifts that we're going to feel are going to exist, especially on that, are going to exist from here. At least, well, I say for me, it exists here to here because we're not going above a, so it's a B flat. So we're not going to really feel anything up here, B, but you are probably going to feel something in the chest a little bit. So
interesting. Yeah, because I've always struggled with sensations in my face. So yeah, I can see how we've all got our own.
Yeah, so it's really like, it's like there's multiple doors that lead to the room.
Yeah.
So you want to try that for a second? Can you try the? And so let's do it now with focusing. So let's map yours, and let what we did with Darren inform it. But let's map yours from the larynx perspective. So now the rungs of your ladder feel like they live a little more here, right?
Yeah, but everything you said about making the first one stronger and just joining them by the thread, it all makes sense. Yeah.
Great. Well, let's try it. So take it slow first so that you can kind of lock in your ladder rungs.
B, 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 B.
Yeah. So, and I love what you did is like you're connecting that portamento to it so that you feel the move. And then right after that, you renewed the vowels and it moved quickly.
Yeah. The repeat thinking of the E. B, B, B.
Now, I will say that is one that I did take from my classical training. It's from like years of doing Handel. I mean, like, I'd be like, because you have to think, restate the vowel, move all through all those melismas. So it's really the same thing. And I really approach those the same way I do melismas from the Baroque era. Honestly, it's a crossover. So cool. Thank you for demoing. Leslie, you want to do it? Want to give it a go? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So which of the where does it sensory place for you?
I'm with Janet, like down in the throat more.
Okay. So let's do it. So I want you to take it real slow and then set your mouth. B.
B. B.
Okay. So I think that was pretty clean. I think yours. Let's play a little bit with the dig on the first one and lighten up the second two. So now do the like lean in on the first one and then lighten up the second. B.
It'll be.
Yeah. Can you give me even more on the B? B. Almost like a little bit chestier on the B.
It'll be.
Yeah. Now give me a little more on renewing those vowels. It's really clean. Do it on those. Renew those vowels a bit more.
It'll be.
Yeah, Leslie, that was so clean. So what?
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a question. So it seems easy to do like it'll be. We're just experimenting with different like. Can we do that too?
It's really, so here's the great thing about pop is like you can kind of get away with anything if you can sell it. If you can sell it, it'll be. I just sold it. You know what I mean? It's like, but if they see me go, it'll be, and it looks like I'm managing it, then people won't buy it. But if it looks like a choice, it'll be, and it looks like a choice I made, and I sell the choice. Then if that's easier, you can do it. But I would say it is worth working on the renewing the vowel and doing what you're doing because it will show up in other places and serve you. But like, if there's a moment in a song and it's like, I don't have however long it's going to take to get this. I have to do this right now, and this has to be clean, and that gets you there. I'm on board with it.
Yeah, but I understand like that renewing the vowel, like you don't just slide down it and because it ruins it, right? We
want to hear each individual pitch, and so it's like that balance of like renew the vowel, each individual pitch, sing it cleanly, but also, and the lightness is the part of that, is like keeping the sound light enough that the voice doesn't feel like it's running with ankle weights, basically. And that's why, but the audience wants to hear the big sound, so that's why you have to lean into the B. B. So they think that they hear this, and then you can lay off of it because what they heard was the full sound of the B. They're not paying attention to the fact that you laid off for the speed on the second one. Yeah, cool. Thank you. So we got some comments here that I think are really useful and fair. So Catherine said the lighter, the faster just clicked for her. And she said her experience was the same or similar to Darren's. Really appreciate that she said that last note landed on the tongue because it was exactly right for me. And then Janet says, and I agree because she led into what I was about to say, this is why I love group classes, as you can play around and try to map what other singers feel and help sensory awareness. So yes, Janet, that is why I will preach the message of group classes to the day that I die, because like you guys in experiencing playing with each other's sensory placements contextually expanded your own tool belt, where if it had just been a one-on-one, it would have been only within the context of what you feel and what you know, and other singers playing with it expanded the context. So awesome. All right, so the last one, Landslide, probably the most popular one, and it's the one that I think like so many people want to sing, and it feels like such a mountain type song to try to, it's like a beast to attempt, even honestly because it's so low. So before we get into that, I want to speak to that for a second. So I have singers ask me like, do I have to sing in the key in which it was written? So here's my answer to that. If you're covering it at a show that you're doing, at a gig that you're doing, no, you do not have to. Now, this is an iconic song, so there is a little bit of an ear expectation, even if it's not for an audition. There is an ear expectation probably from your audience. So I would say you don't, if taking it a half step or a step up puts it in a comfortable spot for you, then I think you're probably fine there. I would not take it a fourth up, because then it moves it into a completely different vocal color pocket, which does change the sound overall. So, as a general rule, especially if I'm taking it in for an audition, I'm only going to play within about a half step or a step, because beyond that, then it sort of starts playing with like it just doesn't land the same. And I want to reference, like I was in a class once with Kenny Seymour, who was an MD for Ain't Too Proud, and I just feel like it's important. Like he shared something, I thought, oh, that makes total sense to me. He said, there's a reason that David Ruffin's characters, it's like that music was written at the top of his range. Like they want you to have the sense, that the experience of it might not get there, and then the thrill of it does. So if that gets lowered a step, then it takes away the tension that was purposely written in. Okay, so I think when you're determining, like, can I change this key? What you really have to look at is, can I figure out why this was written in the range that it was written in? And if I shift this key, am I shifting part of why it was written in that? And so that's where you could get, that's where you check with a coach and ask. If you're not sure, you take it to a coach and go, hey, can I pull this up, or is this change this too much, that now, it's an iconic song and the ear expectation has changed. So it's a sort of a tricky line to walk, but a general rule, half step to a step, you're probably okay. We're going to stick with the original key today. I may not have all these notes. I did this morning. So I do sometimes at like 9 or 10 in the morning. Usually by 9 or 10 at night, I don't have them anymore if I've been singing. But these are like, if you just woke up, you can probably sing Stevie Nicks. So here is the big trick when something is super low. And that is actually to stabilize as much as you can and think wide rather than tall. The taller you think when it's low, unless you are wanting it to have sort of like a whoa, like a full, that sort of sound, you actually want to think wide, because the more you try to assist the low, actually, the harder it's going to be. So we're going to sing Landslide together on Da, and we're going to do it with our teeth together. Okay, not clench, not a bite, but just together. So, and then the other thing that we're going to do it with our teeth together, and then we're going to put our hands right here. And I just want you to have an awareness of if you feel a lot of moving around happening here. Okay, don't change anything. It's just sort of like think of it like bowling, like the bumpers, or it's like the training wheels on the bike. They're kind of keeping you from wobbling or moving too much around. You want to check in and make sure that this right here your vocal tract isn't moving a ton. So doing a mid jog will help stabilize, and then keeping your hand will stabilize. And then we're going to do this whole thing on Da. Okay, so show you what I mean. Da 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 da. Ooh, I had it today. Which is different than, now let me do it if we didn't stabilize. I'm going to put it on the dog this time, and I'm not going to work on stabilizing. And I want you to hear what happens, the difference. Actually, do it with me on mute. So now we're not going to stabilize, and you're going to do it on a nice tall da, and see what your experience is with that. Da 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 da. I caught myself going to my old technique. I was like, I can get out, and I went back into the da. So, I'll bring some people up here in a second. We'll play with this, but I do want to make one before I bring everybody up to play with this. I do want to say one thing. You may be one of the people that can drop your jaw on this a little bit because so we are our own acoustic spaces. We are all built differently. So our vocal tracks are different. Like the pieces are still the same, but we are built differently. And so like you may actually, wherever your vocal range sits, you may actually be able to drop the jaw and go down there and it not, and hit that just fine. Stevie probably doesn't have to really adjust much. It just lives where her voice lives. But if you are wanting to sing it and it doesn't, and it like that down note, da 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 da. I can't drop my jaw and get there. I have to go sideways. Da 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 da. If I don't put it there, that note won't come out. So all that to say, you may be a singer who can take that all the way down. You can do it. But if you can't, this da-da-da, this stability is going to help you get to that place. Okay? So let me just bring you all up again. We'll do one more round. All right, Darren, what did you play with? What was it? What was your experience with the da-da versus the da-da?
I didn't experience much of a difference with them, but I do think the second one, the da-da, I think was just naturally trying to shift into the daz. I think you said something like right at the end, you're like, I think mine changed. And it made me think, oh, I wonder if mine is also, because at one point I looked at my reflection and it had like, my mouth had kind of closed up and I thought, oh, I wonder if I'm not really hanging on to the da when it's
I mean, your voice just may have been like, well, that's not working. I'm going back to what worked.
Yeah, it's like no.
It's like it auto focused for you.
Yeah.
Well, let's try. Anyone of the phrases you want to try? So let's actually let's play a game. Let's play the da-da versus dada game, just for the people watching, so they can kind of hear how those two can change the sound. And like, even if it's a da, you're going to get a different vocal color out of a da-da than a dada. So it's useful to hear that too. So you can just I've been afraid of changing. It's fine if you want to do that.
Okay. Da. You mean just like try to change it
whenever
I need to? And see if it stays.
Filter.
Okay. Da 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 da.
Good. Now give me the words through that. No, and use that as your filter. Put the words in it.
Now I've been afraid of changing 'cause I've spent my life around you.
Good. Now give me dada. Dada. Same thing.
Da 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 da.
Good. Now give me the words through that filter.
So I've been afraid of changing 'cause I've spent my life around you.
Yeah, so what I would say is, well, you got there with both of them, but as a listener, and if I'm an MD behind a table, the first one, I hear the work, and I hear like the singer's getting to the notes, but they're really having to manipulate, where that second one just feels like, it just sounds like, oh, those notes are, come out with ease. And so the second one just sounds more stable.
It feels more stable. The the da-da feels like, wow, this feels terrible. Even though I can do it, but it's horrible.
It is neutralized to stabilize. Cool. Thank you for demoing. All right. So let me see. Janet, let's bring you up. Yeah. So Janet says my voice goes low, and so Janet's voice does so she can do either. So let's play.
So can Darren.
Huh?
Darren can as well.
Yeah. So the thing is, it's sort of like, it is a choice you can choose. And again, it's like with these tools, it's always a choice. It's always I can choose to go this way or this way. But then when you listen back, like, for example, like Darren had the notes either way, but the second one felt and just sounded more stable than the first one. So, it's like, we would go probably that way because that communicates to, your music director. That's like, those notes are stable in there all the time and you don't have to worry about me. You know what I mean? Good. Let's try any phrase you want to try.
Yeah. Well, my usual thing with this is I don't know that much.
It's okay. You can just give me like this. I've been afraid.
I know that bit by now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Da 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 da. How does it go?
Yeah, so just
da,
that's it.
da da da. So I can do that.
Now give me now I've been afraid of changing.
Now I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
Good.
It's a
Now,
bit classical,
I will say,
isn't
Janet,
it? Bit classical.
No, but here's what I will say. You are right. In listening to yours, like your voice kind of goes into the it's still in it for example, it's still in a stable pocket for you, even with the tall ah. Again, because you are your acoustic space, and because your voice, your vocal range does sit a little. So this is not. It's kind of. I remember Tom talking about the guy who sang "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." He was like, the guy who actually sang that didn't have to manipulate anything to sing it because his acoustic space was just set there. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You could just, and it just came out that way because of the way it was built. Where I remember Tom saying, like, I could do that. I just have to manipulate a lot of things. You don't have to manipulate a lot of things because this is where the voice sits for you. But so like you could choose that one. Let's play with the da and see how this da da da.
Even though I can also get on a good day to an E6.
Yeah, absolutely.
D6. Yeah, so it's
so it's less about like it's less about like with the I think it's less about what the actual pitch range is. More about how the voice acoustically presents. That's what
really interesting.
So, da da da
da da da da da da da da da da da da da da.
Good. Now give me the words. Now I've been.
I got them here. I'm getting to know it. I like it. I like Fleetwood Mac. I just didn't know this one.
No, it's okay.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
Good. Now, I love that one too. Can you go back to give me the tall one again?
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
So what's interesting is like probably if I had two singers in front of me, if I had Darren do it, I would say I want this, like the second one that she did that was more on the ah. For you, I would say I think I probably want the first one. And both of them are great. Both of them are equally great. But like because of your acoustic spaces work differently, the sweet spot for each of you is different. So that's great. Thank you for the demo.
Thank you.
Okay, so Leslie, you ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's do first. Da da da.
That doesn't really work for me, but I'll give it a go. Da 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 da.
So now I know it's okay. Play with it. So now give me like
so it's a frog, the da 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 da.
All right, now give me those words in that shape.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
Now, here's the thing. I know you were like, I don't like that much. I actually love that sound.
Really? Yes. I love the song. But
so I feel like, for you, like a lowered larynx note, it's a nice, rich sound. It's full. It's present. Because what I'm not hearing from you is what you would hear from me. It's gone. Because again, in your acoustic space, it's there. No, you could so like. But let's play with the other one, just so you feel that, like, so you hear the different. We hear the different vocal colors. So now give me da da da.
That's more how I would sing it, I guess. Da 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 da.
Good. Now give me the words in that filter. Now I've been.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I
build my life around you.
Cool. So you have both options. Now, here's what I will say. In just playing today and discovering this, I think if I were you, I would play with that low larynx position, like in a lot of the songs, because it's like this whole new color I haven't heard in your voice before. It's really cool. So,
Okay, I
like,
thought you were ridiculous.
yeah,
Okay.
and you could even like combo platter it, like so you could do like da 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 da. Actually, see, I mean, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, and you're doing this on the fly. But can you give me one that's like, "Well, I've been afraid of," that moves in between, and just trust the voice and the musical instincts to know where to go and when to go. No right answer to this.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
Good, do it again. Give me another. Now do it again and go a different route.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
Good. Now do what you just did and disguise the shifts from us. You'll feel them, but kind of blur the paint a little bit so that we don't catch them.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you.
I love that. Yeah. So what you just did was basically we took the technique and you sort of combo plattered, because you can. And with the combo platter, it creates even more vocal colors to play around with. So that's the final thing I would leave everybody with is it's like, you don't have to stay fully in da and you don't have to stay in da. Like if you work with both of these, you can get to the point where it can be da 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 da. And then if you're just like, I want fuller and richer, I'm going for da here. And now I need this to sound a little speakier, I'm going for da here. So like that's sort of like once you get the das and the das, that's sort of like the next level of playing with it. So thank you for demoing. All right, guys, those are our tips for today. So to recall, so you have your dove or your goose, that's your he, You have memorize the micro shift. So find out where you sensory feel those movements happen, then create a map off of that and move from slow to quicker and make sure that you're renewing your vowels. And then on the bottom, neutralize through you can do this or the da, or hold or checking in here to stabilize the sound and then work it through the filter there. So guys who are in the room with me, while I talk to everybody who's watching about auditing a class, in the comments for me, put what's like your number one takeaway from today. So just throw in the comments like the number one takeaway from today, and anybody who's watching that wants to share that. If you are watching this for the very first time, or if you're returning back and you are interested in jumping into one of these classes with us, if you will drop the word Wail below, me or my studio manager, Katie, will reach out to you and we will bring you in and you can join us in one of these classes. I'm not sure what next week's going to be. I'm leaning towards British Invasion, so we may do some Beatles next week. But if I will let you know. If you're on my email list, I'll let you know. Cool. Okay, so what's the major takeaway, guys? Throw that in the comments for me. What's your major takeaway? Or actually, I'm just gonna bring you on the stage and ask you. Janet, what was the most useful tool or the major takeaway?
I'm trying to remember them now. Everything really, but hearing everyone else and the really feeling I want to explore the breathy, the heat, or the heat.
Yeah, so opening up that door, like all that cool
the dove
Great.
to the goose.
Thank you, Janet. Leslie, what about you? What feels like the takeaway for today?
It's all great, but I think just the last bit, the da and the da, I didn't think I could credibly sing that low, consistently, other than maybe just a note. And in my songbook, I've transcribed this song in 3 different keys, trying to find where to place it, and I can just leave it where it is.
You leave it where it is. You just shift the vocal track to help get you there. Awesome. Great. Darren, what's the takeaway? Whoop. I'm gonna plug the piano here. Oh, you're still muted. That's okay.
The takeaway is unmute your mic. That's what I think the takeaway is the reminder that like you're not trying to find the one voice. Like you can have different voices inside of pop rock. Like especially like in Songbird with the breathy and the not breathy, instead of trying to like make it all very connected.
Yeah.
And also everybody had a different experience. So you can, what you think is going to work for you might not work at all. Like,
yeah. And what, yes. And so it's like, that's why these are great, because you can pull tools, because some of you guys lined up, the tools lined up for you. And then some of you, it didn't, it was different tools, like different tools lined up across the board for different people. So great. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And if you want to go further with Songbird, guys, if you want like bonus homework, start by the Fleetwood Mac and focus on that one. And then once you feel like, okay, I've played with this, do not listen to it until you're done, unless you already have. But then go listen to the way Ava Cassidy does Songbird, because it's a whole different approach, okay? And it will show you like you can take the same song and completely change styles and get a completely new thing. So start with Fleetwood Mac, play with that, see how that feels. And then once you feel like, okay, I kind of got this, then go over to Ava Cassidy and let her blow your mind with what she's doing with it, which is very different vocally and in a different, completely different key than Fleetwood Mac. And then I don't know who this is, but thank you for joining us. And I really appreciate it. So yeah, have a great rest of the day, guys. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And then those of you who are in Wail, you can either on Thursday bring one of these cuts and all the tracks and the sheet music are in your folder, or you can bring something else that you want to work on. It's Kayleen. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Kayleen. I'm so glad you watched. Cool. All right, good deal. And then Janet said, Sugar, yes, for pop rock, it seems essential to change up versus a lot of other styles. Yes. We talked about this last night in Wail. It's like that traditional styles, a lot of times, you can find a pocket spot that you're moving through. It's like driving an automatic vehicle. To me, it's like driving an automatic vehicle versus driving a stick shift. Pop rock is driving a stick shift. And so you want to be able to you've got to be able to go through first gear, second gear, and go to these different places where an automatic is just going to kind of glide into the next thing. Pop rock might not necessarily do that. But it's also really freeing to be able to play in that playground. So cool. All right. I love a good analogy. Janet will tell you I love a good analogy. We do analogies around here all the time. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And we will see you next week, probably for Beatles. I think I've decided. I think next week is Beatles week. All right. Bye.